Hey, me, Makari. You join Discord and Twitch. Hey, thanks, bye. Okay, I think it's time to watch some gun videos. You guys want some gun videos? You guys want some gun videos? I think we should watch some gun videos. And you may love him, you may hate him. I personally hate the guy because he's an absolute lovely person who says lovely things about demographics of people that I associate with. But regardless of that, he does make some rather astute gun videos. So why not enjoy a video on a gun that I have a personal enjoyment of, the STG-44. Now, you guys may not know this, but I very much am a gun enthusiast. I adore guns. I am very much a enjoyer of classic guns, vintage guns, modern guns, anything that goes shooty shooty bam bam. That is my kind of thing.
47 and the M16 platform of rifles are two of the most iconic assault rifles of all time. What
is that true? I mean, AK-47 definitely. Like, okay, you know, here's a question for everyone in the chat. When somebody tells you, like, let's do a Rorschach test. When somebody says assault rifle, what comes to your mind? When I think assault rifle, I think Tommy gun, Thompson. Tommy gun, then AK, then M4. In that order. I don't know, maybe I'm just like a boomer. And I know the Thompson isn't actually an assault rifle, but it's ingrained in my head. Leave me alone.
do those two things have in common? They were both used to kill communists. On the AK-47 side, it was mostly used by communists to kill communists who complained about bread lines a little too loud. That's neither here nor there. What else do they have in common? Well, they have a common ancestor. The gun that would forever change warfare by really popularizing the idea
trick question. You weren't supposed to answer that.
Assault rifle.
The ATF now wants to know your location.
Storm rifle, if you will. Ladies and gentlemen, the Sturm
it's so fucking sexy. So, fun thing about this gun. This was the gun that could have changed the war for the Germans. It was made towards the end of World War II. It was one of the most proficient assault rifles that sort of bridged the gap between the lower caliber, sort of older Stens and all that kind of jazz, like the sort of smaller, more optimized machine guns. Because here's the fun thing about World War II. Germany was ahead of the game in technology. And towards the end of the war, they started getting sort of these more powerful machine guns that, if they were made in bigger bulk and much more proficiently, they would have been taking Germany's military might to a whole different level. But they came too late and not in enough quantity. So even though they were very powerful and did a lot of work for the German side, they just didn't have enough of them and not at the right time. I love this gun. It's one of my favorites. It also sounds beefy. It's like imagine what the AK would look like if it was made by socialists. Yeah, this was the grandparent of the HK91. It even looks a little bit like a mix between an AK and the HK2. Like, you look at the front there, it's got a very similar profile to the MP9, the HKs, the 9mm HKs. It was very endemic of the HK like line, as it were. It was just much more like sleek and narrow. But you could see how that was then adopted into the future, the platforms that were made later. Even with the buttstock back here, like the rear end with the receiver, the pistol grip, all very kind of that kind of like transcended into what they made later. And you can see if you look at modern HK platforms, you can see a lot of those like trademarks, hallmarks of how things went from this to that. This is one gun I really want to buy.
I call this one the journalist.
Fun thing as well. Whilst the Germans and Americans were getting all these great guns, England was sat there with their freaking oh, goddamn, my brain's doing a fart. Either way, the Brits were looking at what the Americans and the Germans were getting, going like, could we have one, please? Like, they're sat there with their, like, the Brits were sat there with their Stens and their, sort of, like, because the British military at the time didn't have a massive amount of machine guns or assault rifles or anything that was, like, very high rate of fire, other than, like, you know, your typical machine guns and whatever. But The British were looking at the Americans and the Germans, really begging to have something that could fire more than 50 rounds a minute. Okay, so this is cool, this is cool. Now we're waiting for him to say something derogatory to some fandom. Or to some culture.
Oh, I love the smell of Holland in the morning. Smells like Operation Market Garden. Ladies and mostly gentlemen. The
I can't help but love to hate this guy. Like he's such a diegetically opposed person. Like one moment he makes a really stupid ass comment about a certain type of people, and then the next minute he's talking about the kind of exact thing that tweaks my neurons.
Those who know will know, but for those who don't know, let me break it down to you. This is the grandfather of the modern assault rifle, and that is the case for a couple of ways. So first off, a little bit about the gun itself.
The Russians looked at this and were like,
during the
we can make our own.
Of World War II by the legendary firearm designer Hugo Schmeisser, also the man who revolutionized modern warfare with the basic invention of the submachine gun with the MP-18. So after changing the trajectory of firearm history once, he decided to do it again with the STG-44.
You know, you can't say what you will about the Sten. It looked like something you would make out of scrap metal. And you want to know why that was? Because it was. This thing was the best thing that the Brits could make in terms of high fire rate weaponry in the World War II era. And it's so unique looking. And that's because it was literally made out of cast iron that they had laying around. The thing is, though, that wasn't necessarily bad, because this thing could be made out of some of the most basic bitch metal you could find, and it was so minimalistic. It was one of the most simply made machine guns. And although it wasn't that optimal or fast, England could make, for every one Thompson that was made, England made about 5 of these. Okay, it's probably a good thing that we're not streaming much longer today, because we've got a problem with the house. Oh boy. All right, let's finish up this video and then we'll worry about more later. 3, 2, 1.
Now I know what some of you might be thinking. Brandon, the last time you tried to talk about a German machine gun of World War II that was used by the Nazis, the leftists tried to cancel you. Well, Antonio...
Look, it doesn't matter what side the weapons are for. It just matters they're fun to... At this day and age, it only matters they're fun to shoot. And no one can deny that the Germans were not only peak of fashion in the wars, but during World War II, they were the peak of technology as well.
Tony Gonzalez.
Kind of explains how they almost won.
So, yeah, leftists tried to cancel me. Yes, that is true. People tried to paint me as a neo-Nazi for thinking that German weapons of World War II were cool and wanted...
I mean, they were cool. They were functional. You can have an opinion about the workings of something without being politically aligned to something. Just because I say that the Nazi soldiers looked cool doesn't make me a Nazi. It means I have eyes and know that Hugo Boss were the people who designed the Nazi uniforms.
Wanting to talk about them, despite the fact that in that video I specifically said I didn't like Nazis. But hey, don't let me ruin a good
If you like
smear
Nazis,
campaign
get the
with
fuck
those
out of my
pesky
stream.
facts. But I'm here talking about it today because I think this is one of the most
Nazis.
fascinating parts of the evolution of the modern combat firearm. And again, because I think history is cool.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly why I love guns.
But anyhow, the story...
I am not a fan of the violence of guns. I am a fan of the sportsmanship, the craftsmanship, and to me, holding a gun and knowing how it works activates my ADHD, tismy side of my brain that wants to know the why and the how and the what of the things. Also, the cathartic nature of the touchy-feeliness and the mechanicalness of how the gun functions. People seem to overlook the broad strokes of gun ownership and think, oh, you own a gun, you must be some violent motherfucker. No, dude. And this is coming from a Brit. I literally can't own guns in this country unless it's like shotguns or bolt-action rifles, and even then you need like stupid amounts of paperwork.
Its adoption is actually one of the
I love the sportsmanship. I used to go to a shooting club.
Really identified with the potential
against shotguns and bolt-action rifles.
So you have to remember, in 1944, the average rifle being issued to an infantryman looked nothing like this. Looked a lot more like...
Like I said, the only way, like for most of World War II, the 90% of the infantry were still using you know, your Mossbergs, your Springfields, your bolt-action rifles. If you were lucky, you'd use a Garand, which was semi-automatic. Like, the best most people could get in World War II, especially at the beginning, were your semi-automatics and your bolt-actions. Like, getting a machine gun was more like your MG32s, your Lewis guns, if you were lucky and you had people who could carry them. It was only really towards the end of the war that you started seeing a much higher influx of fully automatic weaponry. You know, you had some, obviously, with the Sten and the Thompson and everything and all those other kind of guns. But really, like, technology hadn't evolved that much between World War I and World War II by the start. But with how World War II pushed technology forwards, by the end of World War II was the result of World War II's beginning incentivizing the need for the advancement of technology.
Bolt-action Mauser.
Yeah, M3, M13 Mini.
America kind of had a big dick swing in with the M1 Garand because that was at the bare minimum semi-automatic. Of course, things like the MP40 and the Thompson were fully automatic, but those are submachine guns, so they're still shooting pistol calibers. There really wasn't much that
another good one.
bridged the gap between a submachine gun and a rifle caliber cartridge that could be used at extended distances.
World War II was sort of the turning point.
That's when Schmeiser said, "Hold my German stout," and came out with the
or these higher caliber fully automatic
weaponry, which really perfectly bridges that gap. I mean, you have so many features of a modern assault rifle in this, from the pistol grip to the ability to be select fire. So this goes from semi-automatic to fully automatic with the flip of a button.
Kind of scary to think that if this thing would have been put into the war, even like a few months earlier, it would have made a huge difference.
Crazy big, you know, 30-06, 8mm Mauser, like a lot of rifles used at the time. Something a little smaller, more compact, and more importantly, something easier to hold.
That is also one of the weirdest magazines, and is so indicative of the early era of assault rifles. Like, you see a magazine for a high caliber assault rifle in this day and age that's straight like that, and they're gonna look at you weirdly like, ugh, you're not bent? Man, you straight? Ugh, weird.
A lot of, and for the average infantry soldier to be able to carry.
A lot of the weapons used at the end of World War II are still used today, like the M14 Mini,
commonplace in 1944.
The
a lot of people that were going to be issued this
M16,
really a lot of the German leadership really loved it.
I mean, weapons transcend. They're always going to shoot a bullet. Depends what's available.
No joke. Hitler apparently, as the story goes, really did not like the idea of the Sturmgewehr, or really anything that wasn't submachine guns. He was apparently infatuated with the idea of the submachine gun and said, we need more things like the MP40, which, if you've ever shot one, dope. I understand what the hang-up was. It's a pretty cool weapon. So apparently he wanted to shift the STG to focus on more submachine
Sorry,
guns,
I didn't mean the M16. I mean, sorry.
If you know anything about where the future of small arms went after
you know what I mean.
You know that was not.
Sorry, my brain often says
I know this may be shocking to some of you, but Hitler wasn't exactly right about a lot of things. But a lot of the German leadership did see the potential in what this gun could become. So that's why they pulled a little sneak.
In my head, I know what I'm saying, but my mouth doesn't do what my head face says.
They manufactured the same gun while giving it a submachine gun.
In reality, what I say, I think sounds very intelligent, but really it's just dribble.
Which is why you hear those names used interchangeably. This gun that we actually have here today is marked MP44, so this would be one of those guns. Apparently he got wise to that too, and of course the rest is history. Not like it really mattered from that point on. By the time it was all decided, things weren't exactly going well for them. Kind of hard to get verified specific details on that.
But that's the thing, right? What I was sort of more referring to is that if these kind of guns were made earlier in the war and Germany had access to them, it would have made a huge difference.
Portrayal and a lot of those things, but that is the
maybe not in the
story
broad strokes things, but still.
STG-44/MP44. It's also worth noting that this example of the STG-44 that we have here with us today is an original. It was rebuilt from a parts kit, but it is a re-weld from an original gun, which means this is a beautiful piece of history.
It's very pretty. I love the silhouette of this thing.
On the channel today. ADD brake. Here I thought we'd try something a little different with our
ADD, no! You can't give me an ADD brake. I've already got 80 of them.
Lovely volunteer right here, and we're gonna shoot an apple off of his head. Oh.
As a Brit, I don't know what a white claw is.
Getting banned from the carnival in 3, 2, 1.
Boom. Hot.
Well, looks like our guy's pretty safe.
Violence.
Never let them know your next move.
That's why I always jump between voices. One moment you're talking ever so elegantly.
And then you're talking like an ogre from Warhammer. We're not just demonstrating that the 8mm Kurs can penetrate a White Claw. Kind of saw that one coming. Even though
okay, but can it penetrate the butthole of an incel?
I was in full auto with the fairly manageable cyclic rate of the STG-44. I was able to squeeze off exactly one round and do it accurately. Albeit that was at handgun distance, but you get the point. Now, I'm not sure if you've seen it yet, but we actually did get a finished firing AK-50.
Gee! Not like I saw that all over my feed the other day. I really wish I'd actually sat there and recorded me watching that video, because, fuck, that was a missed opportunity.
Probably want to be one of the first people that gets to shoot it. Well, you actually can. From now until midnight on Tuesday, May 28th, we are doing a giveaway that one lucky donor to my congressional campaign is going to get a trip with you and a +1 to come out to San Antonio, Texas and be—
Dude, I would want to win this just so I can go out there and kick him in the dick. I'm not instilling violence, but, you know, wouldn't it be kind of wild if I, of all people, turned up for this, considering how, you know, his stance on people like me?
Be one of the first people to shoot the AK-50.
Why would you want to do that? Because he's a dick.
You'll actually be able to, if you want, cameo in the next AK-50.
Oh, in Minecraft. Sorry, yeah, no, of course. I kick him in the dick in Minecraft.
First people to shoot the finished AK-50.
For legal reasons, this is a joke. For legal reasons, that's a joke. For legal reasons, that's a joke.
Is a new entry to win. Links to the campaign are down in the description and in the pinned comment. So on top of it, not only are you entering to win a trip to San Antonio, hang out with us, shoot the AK-50, maybe be—
Skip.
I'll take that deal.
Damn good deal. So let's say your name is War Daddy, you're trekking through France, and you happen to get your hands on one of these. You better know how to use it. Well, the ergos, for a gun from 1944, actually pretty rad.
That movie,
close to modern. So
fucking slaps. One of my favorites.
This is my safety, sir. Here, your selector position is in safe.
Brad Pitt,
you cannot pull the trigger.
Killed that movie. In fact, that Shia LaBeouf was in it as well. I didn't realize it was Shia LaBeouf until my second viewing of it.
Big old button here, the magazine.
That was before Shia LaBeouf had his crazy art.
There you are. I'm gonna go ahead and show clear. No ammunition in the gun. So one of the things that makes this an assault rifle, and yes, that is a real term.
Hey,
a lot of people want to
Darren.
say that,
Good morning.
oh, assault rifle is not a real word. It's just a term that was made up by the left to try to push gun control and scare people. No, you're thinking of the term assault weapon. Assault weapon doesn't have a real definition. Assault rifle, very real thing. It's an intermediate cartridge rifle that has the ability to be select fire, meaning
yeah. Instead, if you haven't seen Fury, go and watch Fury. Amazing movie.
In fact, this was literally, this invented the word assault rifle. This was an assault rifle before assault.
Also, kind of proves the point about German phraseology. Stürmerger, Krakenweg, Krakenwagen, Krakenhaus, Schmetterling.
Rifles were cool.
The German language is just filled with that kind of dialect that makes everything sound aggressive.
Anyhow, this is your fire selector. So this is what allows you to go from semi to full auto. So right here, we have it in semi. So when I reset this, it's in full auto. I forgot. So right now it's full auto. Let's pop it into semi. So here, if I pull the trigger and I rack the, let's say I fired a round, it resets. Not another round is fired. I have to go off the trigger.
Cycling sound.
And then pull it again to fire another round. But when I push this through, then every time it fires, automatically fires another round. But
now, if you want to give a kid, if you want to give me like an ADHD, I realize I said kid and me in the same sentence. Fucking hell, I do have the brain of a child, to be fair. You ever want to get like, who needs like a fidget spinner for an ADHD toy? Just give me a mock-up bolt for a gun. Like, I literally, when I used to go to my gun club, to keep my hands busy, I used to just play with the bolt of one of my guns. Not even when the bolt was in the gun. I used to just hold the bolt and just like, yeah, fidget bolt. Or like, you know the Nerf guns? I used to like just take out the magazine and cycle the magazine and slide the, pull the slide back to pretend chambering around. Give me that kind of shit. That is my fidget toy right there.
The cartridge, the ammo that we were using is 8mm Kurs, which is this bad boy right here.
So tiny.
If this looks familiar, it should, because this looks...
It looks exactly like the dick she told you not to worry about. When you say that you're 9 inches, when your profile picture makes it look like you're 9 inches, but then they see what's in your pants. Yeah, thank you for the resub. In fact, somebody take this picture right here and caption it saying, "This is your PP on drugs."
Exactly like 7.62 by 39, another intermediate cartridge. This, of course, being AK food. This, of course, being, well, the thing that started it all. Or realistically, it's just 7.62 by 39 when it's cold outside. That's pretty expensive, so we appreciate Denver Bullets for helping us out with some of this stuff.
It's also the same metaphor for my
good
nipples.
Little boys and girls, I'm gonna give you a little something extra as a treat.
As a treat? Treat? Someone say treat? Treat?
In the same caliber as the STG-44.
Yo, treat?
It's actually a
what kind of
project
treat?
build from our
Haribo?
gunsmith, Zach.
Twinkies?
It's a Khyber Pass kind of build in 8mm Kurs. Apparently they do that over there, and I think actually, if I'm not mistaken, that's where this magazine is from. So he's done a lot of things to it to give it that Khyber Pass kind of look, whether it's just the mismatched parts, the selector, underfolder, this custom comp on the front end, even down to one of the rivets on the trigger guard is actually made of brass.
Oh, ADHD. Oh, why would you do that? Why did you do that? My OCD. No, you're ruining it. Oh God, what have you done to that beautiful AK? Why would you do that? I'm upset. I'm actually, Brandon Harerra, I spit on you. How could you do this to my OCD?
Which is just, it's a bunch of little cool details. The broken off gas tube lever, even down to the Circle 69 factory stamp. Cool little build. Question is, does it run? I don't know, Zach, let's check out your handiwork.
He didn't do the communist reload.
It do run. So it's kind of nice, you know, to see the grandkids paying homage.
Yeah, but saying that the AK design is pretty is just saying like we breathe oxygen. The AK in general is a very pretty gun.
To have one that is chambered in the same caliber is, I don't know, I just think it's neat. That and
I just think it's neat. I do.
An AK guy myself.
I love the M4 for how adjustable it is, but I am most certainly more of an AK person. I love the AK. I love the design of it. I love the sound it makes when you chamber around. I love the sleek profile of it. I love how friggin' robust it is.
Bring it up. Now
I just wish one day I get to fire one.
How does it work? Well,
unfortunately, I've only ever fired NATO guns. Because I live in the glorious land of Blighty, where we don't allow those communistic pigs into our land. We shan't let that errant way into our lives.
Oh yeah, I just think finding out how stuff like this works is really interesting. And if you're also interested in gunsmithing and weapons technology, then I would recommend checking out sdi.edu using the links in the description and in the pinned comment.
Yep.
Like so. Pull this stock off right off the rear.
That is such a weird stock.
And here we have our...
I've never seen the stock on one of these things removed. That is so weird.
Big old spring here. Kind of like an AR buffer tube spring, really. So now, this swivels down like so.
Oh, I've never seen this thing taken apart. That's so cool.
Your trigger, your hammer, whole 9 yards.
You can kind of see how that was like sort of evolved into the HK series. Like you look at the pistol grip for the HK 5.56. Or basically any of the HK series, like the MP9s, the MP5s, etc. The exactly same kind of pistol. I don't want to say exactly the same, but the same sort of idea behind the pistol grip, where everything's built around the pistol grip.
And then now we have this channel here that goes all the way through the rear. So we are going to pull out.
Ooh.
Unlikely. We're gonna pull our.
I was very much expecting a dirty sex joke. Something about unsheathing your weapon, my mighty dude. Here we have
our tilting bolt and our long stroke gas piston. Long stroke gas piston being one of the only things this actually has in common with an AK, really, aside from the ergonomics. A lot of people like to think that the AK is just a carbon copy of the STG-44, but that's a pretty superficial way to look at it. Really, it's only if you're looking at pictures side by side and you're a Call of Duty kid, and you you think because they look alike, they're the same.
Every time I used to play the original Call of Duty or Medal of Honor, anytime I saw an enemy dropping one of these things, I would rush over to it and use it. In fact, that was my signature weapon back in the older World War II themed war games.
Same thing. It's really not. There are similarities, and really the STG-44 was a big inspiration for the AK and things like it. But it's a completely different operating system. As I've discussed before, the AK's actual operating system takes a lot more inspiration from the M1 Garand. I'm not gonna tism hole with that right now. If you'd like to see that video, it's over here, or It's a photo.
I mean, in some respects, it kind of makes sense because the SG-44 was kind of like it was still using the precedent of what they knew, which was those bolt-action semi-automatic carbines. So in essence, the SG-44 it was almost an assault rifle, but it still had the bases of what you would see from like from the carbines, because at that point that's all they knew. Like the assault rifle hadn't been made yet, so it was like a carbine almost, but in the skin of an assault rifle. Yes, I just made a trans joke, but mine was funny.
I don't know if it's clickable. I forget how YouTube
It's the
works
carbine that
sometimes.
identifies as an assault
It's
rifle.
been a long election cycle. Anyhow, the way that this locks up is that when this is in the gun, it locks on this surface down here by tilting down and locking right behind the mag well. So this tilts down like this, and then when the bolt carrier comes back, it picks
My
it
TISM
up
is actually
and out
kicking
of
my
that
ass right
groove,
now. I love this.
And then the gun cycles. The best way to demonstrate this is...
See, looking at the gun in its entirety is cool. This is what fascinates me. I love knowing the ins and outs of how the shit works. And it's such a unique gun because there is no other gun that has the inner workings like the SG-44.
Actually in the gun. So I'm going to go ahead and put that back together. Get in there. Anyway, check out the through the ejection port here. You can kind of see as this claw comes back.
Ooh. Oh, pretty! ADHD fuel. ADHD fuel. ADHD fuel. I would play with this religiously as my ADHD relief toy.
That bolt. This bolt is tilted down slightly to lock.
That's
And then
fascinating.
when this picks it up,
Oh, that's so cool. It's like
grabs it,
so that's
pulls
how
it
the
out of that channel.
reciprocation
and
of
then
it
when it
works.
goes back forward,
That's so different to like a lot of
drops
other
back
like
down.
I have never
I
seen a gun
think
work
that's
like that.
pretty neat.
Yeah, German
Also,
engineering
last
in a
little note
nutshell,
here,
right?
This dust cover, very reminiscent of the AR-15. Again, little details like that. Very neat to see. You know,
It's like the gun that
really
says,
in
"I don't know
firearm
whether I want to be
design, there's
German
something that I say a lot.
or wherever I want to be
It's been a running
American."
joke in the shop. There's nothing new under the sun. There really is a million
A
ways
wild
that
gun.
things that are being done today have been
Yeah, I was
done
about to say, to anyone in my stream that's not really a gun fanatic, they're like, "Why, yes, this is certainly a gun.
throughout firearm history, developing different branches.
This
of the
certainly
family
is a
trees of
shooty
guns
shooty
that
bang bang."
exist. And it's just kind of neat to see all these little nuances in guns that came 80 years before. I think it's neat. And if you've watched this
I think
far,
it's neat
you do
too.
Because after all, it's our autism. And we get
Yeah!
to choose the special
Our autism! My autism! My autism for my community! Because what's yours is mine, and if I have to suffer with the tism, so do you.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is the STG-44. It's a real fun video for me. I've been wanting to make this for a while, but you know, these guns can be a little finicky, so sorry it took so long, but I've been really wanting to do this video. I
You know, Brandon, I may not like a lot of the stuff
it's
you
just a neat
say,
video for me because
but this
again,
was a
my
nice
passion
video.
for
I like
history
this.
and
If
my
you like
passion
this
for
video,
showing you
make sure you
guys
say it down in the
firearm
comments as well.
history
Go and like the
firearm
original as well.
mechanics and some of the etymology behind some of the more popular platforms today. It's also fun because it's a message directly to leftist media that I don't give a fuck what you think, and I'm going to continue to do
fair
the
enough,
things
fair
that
enough. I agree.
enjoy doing.
Fuck
So,
you leftists.
I'm not sorry, and
Damn
you can go fuck
liberals.
yourself. But on that note, if there are any other historic firearms you guys would like to see on the channel that maybe we have our hands on, maybe we can get our hands on, we'll see. Go ahead and let me know down in the comments. I appreciate you for staying to the end, and as always,
Joke's on you, I'm not staying to the end. Haha, psych, motherfucker! Right, that was a very awesome video. I love it. I love seeing guns. I love having my ADHD brain stroked. And with that, thank you for watching, guys. Again, go watch the original, go like the original, join us on Twitch sometime, go join Discord, and be part of the community in the way that you know how. And I'll see all of you guys next time. Bye-bye!